So one of the things we alluded to earlier in a separate segment was dietary modification and how passionate we are about that. And one of the things that has really led to is really looking at the kitchen or the pantry as your pharmacy.
I love that.
And as we've really dived into creating more nutritious meals or guiding people through that, we've really looked into the constituents of food, the constituents of herbs and spices and other things that are in most people's pantry, and how they influence your health and how you can incorporate them into your diet to enhance your health. One of the things from a cancer perspective, oncology perspective, that has been very intriguing to me is just how many foods and or things that we can eat that have incredibly positive effects for inflammation and directly for cancer prevention, for benefits to your heart, for Alzheimer's prevention, for managing stress and depression. And these are all the things that from a traditional standpoint, traditional medicine standpoint, we have a pill for everything. Mm-hmm. And really being able to get away from that and going back to food and nutrients as your primary way of feeding your body and to eliminate disease or prevent disease has just been an amazing experience for us. One of the things that, for example, I kind of maybe go off the deep end a little bit with most of my patients is garlic. It's an amazing herb or spices. We use it. It's related to, or it's in the onion family. It's Allium strativium. I'm probably not getting the Latin right on it, but the sulfur's in it. When you crush it, you get the aroma of it. Those are highly anti-inflammatories, so they really cause your body to decrease inflammation, and they also have very specific actions against cancer. So cancer cells, when they interact with the constituents of garlic, they shut down. And there's a whole host of foods like that. Turmeric is probably one that almost everybody knows about or has heard something about. And part of our passion with that is to teach people what's in their pantry, how do they use it, how do we combine it, because certain foods together have synergy and we really bring out the nutrients, we bring out what's good in them. We try not to spend a whole lot of time in telling people what not to eat, but really helping people, show them what they can eat in a very robust way.
In a very flavorful way.
In a very flavorful way. And having some knowledge of what's already in your kitchen goes a long way to dealing with just a myriad of common ailments that affect a lot of different parts of your life. And we talk about it from a lifestyle management or lifestyle changing process. We do a lot of, we emphasize things to help reduce stress, and the foods that you eat can be part of a pillar that helps with that, amongst other things. One of the things that's interesting to me as part of my education in integrative medicine is rheumatology, for example. We have some amazing, what we call biologic medicines. You hear them on TV all the time. These immunologic agents that will reduce rheumatoid arthritis, for example. And at the end of the segment, you hear can cause nausea, vomiting, dizziness, heart attack, leukemia, cancer, death, which is really scary. Very potent agents, which is what traditional medicine has done very well. Is we reduce down to a very single component, and it's a sledgehammer. We can achieve a lot of the same therapy through food in a much more gentle way, and also in a way that it's not going to be toxic. The likelihood that you're going to OD on garlic and have any side effects from it doesn't exist.
Well, unless your spouse is averse to it.
Well, there's
So-
that.
Yeah, and I use that as one example. There's, and part of it
It
is.
happens to be one of our favorites, and we both eat it, so it's not
That's
an
good.
issue.
Well, and part of it is also in helping people understand this is, well, if a particular food is something that you don't enjoy, you don't like, what are the alternatives? How do you introduce that in a way that actually is palatable? Or what's the substitute? What are the alternatives?
Right.
So it becomes one of those processes where there's a bit of education involved, but once you learn it, your ability to just use your kitchen as your pharmacy becomes a reality, and it's a very exciting process to see.
Well, what happened, at least for me personally, and I know you've had changes too, we started experimenting with all these different foods, all these different things, and I found I was sleeping better. Almost like within a week, I was sleeping through the night, where I hadn't done that in years. I'm a runner, and I'm an avid runner. I love running. I couldn't go out for my morning run without taking ibuprofen before I went. That has totally gone away. I run faster than I have in the last 10 years, and it's just thrilling for me to be able to do that. I feel so much younger. And when we started all this, we really did start thinking of it kind of as a diet. We're making, we're just going on a diet. We want to lose a little weight and feel a little better. But it's been really profound, and we really realized we weren't on a diet. We weren't dieting at all. I think we both eat more food than we ever did when we were dieting. So it's really more of a lifestyle change. And that I know sounds really frightening to people. I mean, a lifestyle change, what am I going to have to do? And really it was simple. It was just looking at things differently. And for us, it happened, it just evolved naturally. Once we started thinking about it, once we started looking at recipes and talking about the food and looking up what things were really good for you, it just sort of happened naturally. And one day you just realize you're there, and it wasn't hard at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know in my own experience, when I went on this journey for myself of really changing my diet, mostly motivated by the fact that I couldn't get out of bed in the morning because my joints hurt so badly,
Right.
and motivated by the fact that I was having these terrible headaches and not sleeping at night. So all these things, some of the things that you've mentioned, but I too was taking ibuprofen every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on this lifestyle change of my own around diet and food for over a year now, and I can't remember the last time I had any ibuprofen.
Same here for us.
And all these ailments that I had are now gone.
Right.
It is amazing the transformation that you can achieve. Important for us, as we have mentioned previously, is how to achieve that, to make that into an eating pattern that you're knowledgeable about, you enjoy. Also is teaching people how to basically take it on the road. Mm-hmm. So when you go out to eat, how do you select the foods, and basically be able to navigate that very easily, and so that you can enjoy food with friends, part of it, lifestyle, that, stress reduction. I think being with family and friends, breaking bread, that's something that with a lot of the more, strict kind of, let's get rid of one entire macronutrient kind of diet, we lose out. It can force people to be a little bit more isolated and really not enjoy eating.
Which means you're not in a healthy place. That's not part of being a whole healthy person. You want to still have all the things you love to do, your friends, going out to dinner, and not feel uncomfortable making different choices, or eating just a little bit of something that normally you wouldn't eat, but someone cooked this for you. Doing things there's ways to do it, and we talk about that with people, so that none of this has to be so life altering in the things you love to do that you feel you can't do them anymore. And that would feel like a terrible loss to people, and that we don't want for anyone.
So how does this get incorporated into the retreats that we're talking about doing?
A great question.
Yeah.
As part of it is, for some people, that can be daunting. The kitchen experience, putting the ingredients together and really understanding the spices and what I would also call botanicals that we either are we can take as supplements or they can get included in food. And as part of the retreat, we are working hard to provide a very clean, whole foods type of meals on all of the meals, and we spend time going through each of the constituents of the meals. We will cook together. We will explore the kitchen together, the pharmacy, and along the way is just part of that process. We impart whatever knowledge we have on the different foods, the different spices, also taking into account that there's going to be some different preferences in the group, and how do we shift things very easily and teach people how to do that with their kitchen pharmacy.
Right, in a graceful manner, because some people cannot eat glutens, for instance. So there's ways to work around that and change things in your kitchen. I mean, it's really the most fun we have in our work is when we can get a group of people into the kitchen and actually do and talk about everything that's actually going into what we're preparing. And how easy it can be to prepare something very healthy and very tasty at the same time.
It just seems like it's such a conducive way of connecting with each other, and in a big group, whether you're with these people that you're sharing this experience with at a retreat, or you're with friends at home, or you're just with each other as a couple.
We
It just
do that
seems
all the
like
time.
a really great way to connect with people.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that from a conversational aspect, and everybody eats. Everybody also has pretty much an opinion, as one way or the other, about certain things about diet, and so it helps us really as a group go through these things and understand different perspectives. There's certainly some dietary information out there that's completely wrong that we try to help people through, but also for certain things we intuitively or we already know that this is a healthy thing to do, but diving maybe even a little deeper as to, well, why is it? What's maybe there's some science behind it,
Right.
and we can even get a deeper appreciation for a particular food group, and that helps people, I think, navigate through their choices. We live in a society now, or our culture, where we have unlimited, or I should say, immediate access to food.
Right.
And so our food choices and what we're barraged from are dictated somewhat by that. Our genetics are based on survival. So we do tend to go towards food that is most accessible, high calorie, high satisfaction, and you have to retrain your brain a little bit on what your body needs, rather than what our predecessors, our prehistoric ancestors needed to survive. And the part of the process of going through the understanding the meals in your kitchen, we have found this even with ourselves, is that our perceptions of foods, our food cravings, have entirely changed. And was something that I never thought would happen to
I
me,
didn't either.
and we
No.
didn't really intend or do it purposefully. But a cleaner diet, more thoughtful, mindful diet, drives you to continue to do that, and that's part of where we want to introduce people to it, guide them along the way, and provide that support to get them kick-started in exploring that on their own from here.
Well, I've been really surprised that I never thought I crave a burger and fries. Was it crave a burger and fries? I don't crave a burger and fries. I will crave a kale salad, like we had for lunch today, or yogurt and granola with berries. I miss that when I don't get that in the morning. No one could have told me that would happen to me in a million years, and that that's how I would feel.
And honestly, a few years ago, we've had conversation as to kale. What's kale? Really? Kale? No.
No, yeah.
Quinoa? I'm not sure I'm going to ever want to eat quinoa.
How do you spell quinoa
How do you
anyway?
spell quinoa? I couldn't say quinoa for the first few years.
Yeah.
But that's been part of understanding, okay, why are we interested in them? What are the benefits of it, rather than it being a fad or a trend? So there's the basis for it. And then also, how do we prepare them in a way that you absolutely are going to love how it tastes. And so it becomes something that just becomes part of your cooking repertoire.
And at least for us, understanding the nutrients and all that really is such a motivating factor to eat these things, or try them in the first place, and then you realize, wow, that's pretty tasty.
Right.
And why wouldn't I then keep that in my diet when it's really tasty and happens to be very good for me at the same time?
So, in order for people to have real transformation as they go back into their everyday lives, what are the greatest takeaways from the experience that they'll have here at a retreat, where in this space of the kitchen as your pharmacy?
I think part of it is really getting people into an environment that's going to be very safe, nurturing, experimental, so people can ask the questions and get hands-on experience with it, and doing some, when you're experimenting with a new dish in your own kitchen, sometimes it can be daunting. So part of it is here for us to just go through that process and have the conversations and provide the recipes. And it's just from a culinary kind of experience that people, I think, move much quicker to wanting to do these things at home when they've done it in a kitchen together in a group.
Well, and we talk a lot all the time when we're at home cooking. We talk about this all the time. But you're a busy mom. You have a bunch of kids at home. Your husband isn't there to cook because he's got a night job or whatever your story is. It can be very time-consuming and difficult to get all this in. But you just have to learn tricks that help you out. There's a lot of stuff you can do, like on the weekends. We, of course, are very lucky. We love to do this together. But a lot of people like to cook. So you just you do things on the weekends. You cook, and we have food oftentimes for the whole week, because we'll make stuff over the weekends that you can put in the freezer or put in the fridge. Talk about when you're at work and you're faced with these vending machines, and this is and you're going to get candy bars or potato chips out of those because that's what's in them, and sodas, and all that. Just start thinking about these things and preparing little things that you can easily take with you, from home. I mean, you have to start thinking about these things a little, but you get into that mode pretty quickly, and it isn't so daunting. Or like going up to a restaurant and not feeling ill at ease, asking your waiter, okay, how is this fish? Where was this fish? Is it wild caught salmon that we're eating, or what is it? About the beef, are they sautéing things in butter or olive oil? And usually places are pretty good about responding to that in an open way. And if they're not, then maybe you should choose another restaurant next time, because you should be able to ask those questions and get answers. So not feel embarrassed that you're asking these things.
That's great. I am so excited about having this component as part of a retreat. I think it's just probably one of the easiest things that people are going to be able to take with them and incorporate into their everyday life.
Well, and it is what we're passionate about, but you have to look at the whole person and do all the things that you want to teach people, and to make it all work in a really good way. There's so many things you can do to make yourself a really more complete and whole who you are to be in a healthy way.
Right.
So, yeah.
To find out more about Me Retreat, click on the link in the video description below or go to www.meretreat.com.